You're listening to Heroes in the Moment.
What's up, heroes? I'm Michael.
And I'm Nathan.
And today, we're finally breaking down Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania trailer.
Come on, Paul Rudd.
Our first trailer.
Do it
Paul
to me,
Rudd.
baby.
It just gets me excited to talk about Paul Rudd the whole podcast.
Him and Ryan Reynolds a little bit.
Dude,
You know what I'm saying?
love it. But anyway, we get our first trailer, our first podcast on Quantumania. And we're excited. It's about time. It's a little bit late of a trailer, so we're excited about that. So just some initial reactions. I'll start us off. Honestly, I was in the same boat. Like, initial reactions, I was like a bit surprised with this trailer. I didn't know what to expect. And I was like, I don't know. Like, it's different. It's odd and stuff. And then the more I watched it, because I watched it about 7 to 8 times, to get ready for this podcast.
Yeah.
As I had time today. And it actually got me more excited. It actually made me like it more as I progressively watched it and saw more stuff.
I watched it twice. The first time I watched it, I didn't like it. And I texted you. I was like, this kind of looks a little dumb. The world looks just like really CGI, like a worse version of, Guardians of the Galaxy type of world. It just doesn't make sense. Some of the storylines, I could predict the whole movie just from seeing this.
Right.
I watched it the second time. I did appreciate it more, but it didn't hit me as hard as some of the other trailers have come out recently.
I understand that for sure.
Tough competition with Black Panther trailers dropping.
Oh, yeah. But at the same time, it's a different type of movie. It's different.
Yeah.
But it still was really cool in that sense. But I agree with that statement as well, is because I have high hopes for this movie. I have a lot of excitement for this movie, and I hope it's very good. But honestly, if I'm being honest, I don't know how I'm going to feel about it, because I don't think it's going to be that good, if that makes sense. I hope it's going to be very good. But not even from the trailer even before the trailers, I was thinking this. I don't think it's going to be good.
Yeah.
So that was my nervous, just because the main reason I'm thinking that is just because of Peyton Reed. I'm not a huge fan of Peyton Reed's directing ability, and I don't know why they brought him back to do a third one.
Yeah.
But
when two is absolutely terrible.
Right. One was great, but two is,
when you think about the premise, the majority of the movie is going to be Scott and his daughter Cassie in the world, in the quantum realm. That's just not interesting.
I think it's interesting, but it just depends on how they pull it off.
I said to myself, I literally said this out loud because I was bored and I hadn't seen people today. Well, I have now, but I was like, listen, man, this is not even going to be, I don't think, a top 15, top 20, maybe Marvel movie.
I don't know. It could surprise us, and it could be very good.
Us,
but you think so?
Yeah.
I think it could, and I hope it doesn't, and I hope it's very good. But I'm also worried about it. But the only thing keeping me up is how important it is to the future of the MCU, because I know this movie is going to be crucial.
I mean, it's huge, right? That's how Kang is getting through. We already hear from the trailer. He's coming back with Ant-Man.
Right. So I'm excited for it nonetheless. And honestly, also this trailer gives me major Guardians of the Galaxy vibes. It was very Guardians of the Galaxy.
Well, like I said, I was comparing it to that the whole time. James Gunn is just a better world builder than Peyton Reed is.
Right.
So
unless he does a good job. I don't know.
Well, as I'm seeing the shots, all I'm thinking is, that's CGI, that's a green screen, that's a green screen. Whereas I'm seeing Guardians, I'm like, dude, that's a beautiful world. That's the difference.
Well, I don't know about that, because I disagree in the sense that I think it did look really good in the trailer. It did not look we know it's obviously green screen, but it looks good, and I appreciated that. And I like the Guardians of the Galaxy vibes, and this new, of course, we're diving deep into the quantum realm.
Yeah,
so that's really cool. So now to get into this trailer, shot by shot, to break it down for you guys in a cool new sense, and of course, it's got Goodbye Yellow Brick Road with Elton John going on, because obviously it's a homage that they're no longer in Kansas anymore. They're going to Oz. So that's pretty cool in and of itself. All right. So we start off in San Francisco. Scott's enjoying everyday life, chilling. He's an Avenger. He saved the world after Endgame.
Everybody knows who he is.
Everybody knows who he is, except the one dude who thinks he's Spider-Man. He's Employee of the Month at Baskin and Robbins again. Shout out that guy.
I just have a hard time believing that an Avenger, bro, he could be getting paid more doing cameo. Doing signed meet and greets with fans and working at Baskin.
Well, I don't think he actually works there. I just think it was the fact he got fired from there because he was a convict, so they made him.
Yeah, they're like, oh, dude, we had an Avenger, bro. You fired him. Be honest.
So that was really cool seeing that, and we did hear from other trailers. They didn't highlight in this trailer that he had built a bit of an ego. I hope they don't really play into that too much, because I don't see that from Scott. I love my Paul Rudd, so I don't know, but it's just pretty cool.
When he's first introduced, right, and when you see him in Civil War, he's just this humble dude, and that doesn't change, throughout, Endgame, right?
Right.
To totally change his character now, L move
Yeah,
for Disney.
that would
so
be an L move.
Keep
So
him the same.
Keep him the same. So hopefully we don't see that in this movie. But then we also cut over to seeing, Scott Lang and Hope Van Dyne walking down the red carpet to I don't know what, whether it be a movie premiere or whatever else. So that's cool to see that they're famous now because they're superheroes and what they've done.
I'm glad he deserves it.
He does
She
deserve it out
you know?
of everybody. And then, of course, it goes into a new world where we see Cassie Lane, who's obviously older now.
Yeah.
They obviously recast her to get a little bit better of an actress.
Who's the actress? Because I have no idea.
She is actually pretty big. She's in quite a few stuff. I forget her name.
I've never seen her in anything, if I'm being honest.
She's into quite a few newer stuff. She's like probably our age, but anyway, she is apparently really smart and a scientist, and then she has seemingly built something and showing her dad. And it looks like, and you pointed this out to me, that you think that Janet was involved in building this, but to me it looks like that she's there watching, her, seeing this as well. She came in because. And then it seems like what it seems, because she does say this is what we made. So I don't know if Hope made it with her. Maybe that's possible, because Hope's a very good scientist as well.
I mean, they were all geniuses in there except for Scott Lang.
Right.
So it just really struck me as an oddity that, Janet wouldn't have said something sooner. Like, hey, I'm an actual scientist. I know what this does. Why am I just telling her to turn it off?
Right.
I just feel like the whole, does it do that? Oh no, turn it off. I just feel like that was a little poorly written, to be honest.
See, I don't think it was, because unless it is true that she helped make it. If she didn't help make it, then it's not poorly written, because of the fact that Cassie decided, she's smart. She made this herself. She wanted to show them what she could do. Because she knows about the quantum realm, what happened with that, and she made this, and she wanted to, send a message down there.
Yeah.
And then Janet's realizing like what it does, and then Cassie tell her what it does, and then she's like, "No, you can't do this." I think that's actually really good, because then it builds in what's down there, and of course we see that in the trailer.
Yeah,
I think that works. If I'm being honest, and as I rewatch it, I'm like, that's what it is more so than what you initially thought. But I don't know if that is true, then it would be bad, but. Other than that, no. But what it does is it sucks them all in, right? It sucks all of them in. You got Scott Lang, you got Cassie, you got Hope,
they all got
Janet,
sucked.
And then you got Hank Pym. And one thing I want to notice is Hank Pym has no piece of dialogue in this trailer. What do you make from that?
Dude, number one, either he has no dialogue in the movie, or number two, he does, but just not in these scenes. They have not taken away the man's vocal cords, man. Like, they are still there.
Wasn't Michael Douglas sick for a little while, like during the filming of this or something?
I haven't heard anything about it.
Where he couldn't do a lot of the stuff. I don't know. I heard something about he was sick or something, but he's a talented actor.
That's possible. Obviously, he's older too. That would, I mean, I don't expect him to talk if he's sick, know? But maybe he's just like a simp and he just does whatever his wife says.
Well, I mean, he hasn't had her in like 30 odd years. So, I mean, I would simp too.
I'd be like, whatever you say.
Whatever you say, dear. Yeah, for sure. Every time. But also strikes me as I wonder is there going to be a casualty in this movie? And I think that there will be.
There has to be. And I think we're going to see Michael Douglas die.
Like Hank Pym.
Hank Pym. What's his future? I mean, in the MCU.
And that's the one thing is that sucks. And that's
Janet too, honestly. Them died together, finish out their story, separated for so long, die a sacrificial death. Like, I mean,
that's possible.
It's cheesy.
The only
but
thing
it's
that
good.
it just makes me so sad is because Hank Pym's obviously he's the original Ant-Man. And obviously, going back in time, when we heard first there's theories that there's going to be an Ant-Man movie, we thought it was going to be about Hank Pym.
Yeah, Hank Pym. The comic legend.
The comic legend of Hank Pym. And he was great in the comic. I love Hank Pym. He's one of my favorite characters. And, it just makes me so sad that, like, I don't want to say the MCU ruined him. It's just we never got to see him.
Yeah.
In his full form in the MCU.
Yeah, like a brilliant genius, kind of like keeps himself a little prideful, but I mean, he's awesome. He's up there with Tony when it comes,
for sure,
with everything. Instead, it's not a bad thing, but we get like a blubbering like idiot like they present with Paul Rudd, who grows into a really lovable character.
So I don't know. I mean, I love Paul Rudd. Scott, like I love Paul Rudd.
He's amazing. He's a perfect casting for what they're doing with Scott Lang.
When I first watched the original Ant-Man, or when I was first going in to watch, I was like frustrated because it was Scott Lang and not Hank Pym. But now I'm like, okay, I see what they did. But anyway. All right, so move on with this trailer. as we see, they get sucked into the quantum realm, and they go in there, and then they land in this world, this new world, getting that Guardians of the Galaxy vibes. And I, like you said, you were thinking Greenstein the whole time, but to me, I just thought it looked really beautiful. Like I was impressed, like with the CGI and the effects. Like I thought it actually looked good.
Yeah.
And some guys appearing up this new world. They're wondering where they are.
I guess that was probably like the police. To be honest, they're probably like
the quantum
security.
Realm. Yeah, security. I don't know.
Security.
It's possible, but like just seeing all the different stuff. We've never seen this version of Quantum Realm before because we know Scott Lang's been in there and he spent time in there, and same with Janet Van Dyne. But apparently Janet's seen this world. Of course,
she lived
Scott
in
Lang
it.
didn't. She
forever.
lived in it for a good while. And then obviously there's some connections there we'll talk about in just a minute.
Hi.
I know, right? So what's going to happen in the quantum realm? So it seems like they're divided into two different parties, like we talked about earlier. It's Scott and Cassie, and then Hope, Janet, and Hank.
My question is, how do they land together? Like, who's to say when they get pulled into the quantum realm that they'll all be in the exact same spot? Like, with how big the quantum realm is, the chances of them linking up and finding each other, as far as I know, they don't have GPS, bro. Like, realistically, I would not have had them interact, if I'm being honest, man. I'm keeping them apart, like, things that shouldn't belong
that
together.
might be, like, boring and, like, just, like, 6 subplots going on.
But, here's a door.
2 plots.
Oh, dude, there's Ant-Man. Dude, where were you the whole time?
And who's to say that's not what happens? And they just show in the trailer who gets together first. That's possible too.
I mean, just write it well how they get together. Just write it well, man.
Because we see Hope landing in her suit. Like
how'd she get
alone.
that? Where'd that come from?
She wears it under her clothes. Like same as Paul Rudd. Like
no need for underwear when you got
obviously
a suit.
Too, it's like it's easily accessible. They could just put their suits in their pocket and then pull it out when they need it, press a button, and they got it. I mean,
that's plot armor, bro. What if he had forgotten it and then he died in the quantum realm because he didn't have it? Of course, they all could be suited up. Dude, all of them have suits?
If I had Ant-Man suit, dude, I'm keeping that on me at all times, my guy.
You just wearing it all the time. Dude, I would wear it all the time.
I would wear it all for sure. I just go shrinky,
I would go to the grocery store.
So, I wouldn't say necessarily plot armor, but I understand that kind of sense. But don't diss the movie before we see it.
Okay.
Gotta get in there.
I'm dissing it. I'm not too excited right now.
All right. So we see Hope, Janet, and Hank riding through the quantum realm. Of course, Janet's being their guide, showing them through, and they take them to Bill Murray, I guess, is what I'm assuming.
Yeah.
I guess their friends or did something there. But Janet does say this line that there's something I never told you. Which of course interests
me. It's kind of
sus.
I feel like you would have told your family. Right. Also, I feel like she would have had severe PTSD
for sure
from visiting this area again. Like
she had to.
The movie better play into her mental health. Like trapped.
I agree.
Presumably be alone for this.
It's
time,
also great to have
years.
Such a great cast of actors like Michelle Pfeiffer. Like she's very talented actress. Yeah. So having her, and then of course Michael Douglas, Paul Rudd, Evangeline Lilly, all of those great actors.
So A-list, baby.
It's good to have those. And then when she says that there's something I haven't told you, you see the figure of Kang put something into like an orb into something.
Yeah.
Super comic accurate, which I love.
What is it?
We don't know. So what it looked like is I'm getting theories of possibly Janet stole this item and he took it back. Something happened there. They know each other somehow from the quantum realm. Something another there. We see probably the micro universe, this kind of stuff. So I don't know what that could be.
Also, why is Kang just chilling in here? Is my question too.
Well, we have to realize
why is he in the quantum realm?
That the quantum realm is its own reality. It's not necessarily. It's not just like shrinkage. It's not like you're just in like the microorganisms of atoms.
Yeah,
like it's literally its own alternate reality universe.
Okay,
in just smaller.
So what's preventing someone from just traveling over? And like, why couldn't Kang do it?
Maybe they don't have the means yet. And this is why Kang needs to get with Ant-Man and work with Ant-Man so he can get out of this prison.
Okay. So would you say that this quantum realm is like an alternate reality, or rather like the only one of its kind in this, Earth 616?
In this Earth 616, I would say, there's probably multiple different entities and cities and different things within the quantum realm, but it is its own reality. Yes. Okay. Yes, and we see Kang's like city and fortress, and we know that this version of Kang was born because of Sylvie's decision at the end of Loki. And this is the repercussion. This is the Kang that he who remains warned us about. This is the guy. who is going to, and obviously this movie is going to lead into Kang Dynasty, so it's a very important movie to the future of the MCU because we know Kang's staying with us here.
For sure.
So just seeing this and just seeing his world that he's created, like he's the leader, he's the conqueror of this world in the quantum realm. And just seeing that, like, he looks so good. Like, Jonathan Majors is gonna kill it.
His suit looked crazy. His suit
looks so good. Like his helmet, he had like the blue, he had the green,
the purple.
Red, purple. He looked fantastic. And just seeing that, and then him talking, it's just amazing. Gives me chills to think.
It was hype. That was the best part about the trailer.
Oh, for sure.
Just seeing that reveal,
and then just seeing, also just them travel and like you have Ant-Man, Cassie, and the rest in their own like subplots going on, exploring the quantum world. And it's cool to explore this world because this is a branch of the MCU we know very little about. That this movie's called Quantumania, so we're exploring it very deeply. That it's very actually a bigger reality than we ever expected. And then of course we see some like weird looking creatures coming to attack Michelle Pfeiffer. Maybe they have some type of connection. I don't know necessarily.
You owe me money. I do think the movie will suffer a little bit in this sense because I do believe the whole exploration part will be before Kang. So I think that little subplot, just like them going around on their magic carpet, I feel like that would bring it down a little bit before obviously Kang is the big part. So I'm just curious to see how much time they're going to devote to this time of exploration throughout this world. It's not like they can cover a huge area,
Right. No, but I do want to see this world explored, though, as well. I do want to see more of it as well. And we see it in the trailer, of course. The next shot is, of course, we see multiple versions of Ant-Man and him, like, exploding and just different cool, like, reality tripping stuff. So that's cool. I wonder what that is or, like, what part of the quantum realm that is which is really cool. And then also at the highlight, we see a really cool image of their new suits. Which actually looks really good. Evangeline Lilly's looks very comic accurate. She's got the pixie hair is comic accurate as well. And the yellow, that's very yellow. Bright.
I know, very yellow.
It looks very good.
I love the character Wasp from the
Wasp
comics.
Actually
look great.
And then, of course, Ant-Man. And then, of course, we see Stature's suit as well, which has the same abilities as Ant-Man.
Stature.
So that's cool to see. Of course, Cassie Lang and leaning more towards the Young Avengers. We see Kang rising again the super comic accurate way. We see the three of them together of Paul Rudd. I love Paul Rudd. Scott Lang, Stature, and then of course Wasp. All of them together as three getting ready to fight. I don't know if it's Kang or if it's.
Listen, they ain't fighting Kang in this world.
Probably.
Yeah, MODOK probably.
And right behind him, looks legitimately. I'm looking at right now. Looks legitimately like Coruscant. It looks legit like the planet Coruscant. It does. Shot there. But yeah, seeing that. So we also know MODOK. I think he's probably the main villain of this movie, MODOK. With Kang as the overarching.
Yeah, overarching. I mean,
that's cool to see.
Look, I think just from this trailer, it's pretty clear to see what this plot is. I think honestly, once they get there, you're gonna have your subplot explorations. I think somehow there's gonna be a meetup. Obviously, they're gonna deal with maybe local security, different beasts that fight them. They're gonna go against MODOK, and then you see flashes of Kang. He's a real one, and then obviously we see that he offers the only way out, or that he needs them. Regardless, they leave with Kang. Like. It just seems pretty simple, and I want it to be more complex than that.
And it may be, though.
I hope. Dude, I really hope so, man.
And I mean, that plot, honestly, like, that's not a bad plot either.
See, I think it is.
You think it is a
Stuff
bad
like
plot?
that has been done for decades. Go somewhere new.
It can be.
Explore.
Right.
Face the challenges. Escape, but not without repercussions.
Right. However, that really interests me. Like, the whole plot and the premise of exploring the quantum realm and then meeting up with Kang, fighting MODOK. It just seems very interesting to me, and I would love to see this movie succeed.
Yeah.
Because I think it deserves to. An Ant-Man movie to really do well. And then we cut over, of course, to see Ant-Man having a conversation with Kang, saying, "Will you help me?" And then, of course, Scott being very hesitant, and he's like, and then he actually mentions it, Ant-Man.
Yeah, I'm surprised he didn't make a joke there or something.
Well, originally, and it was super serious in the scene, which I loved.
Yeah,
and this,
it's a darker tone. Yeah,
this trailer was not comedic. Well, Did you notice that as well?
And I actually really appreciate that. I mean, I understand the first
two
beginning. Yeah, they're hilarious, right? And they need to be, but this series, this trilogy is taking a dark turn for the better, right? I mean, you can't throw Kang and MODOK in there and just have it be a really light movie.
Exactly.
I mean, that's, dealing with him, that's going to cost billions and billions of lives,
For sure.
just the same as Thanos.
For sure.
So.
And we know with this scene, where he's like, "Will you help me, Ant-Man?" But right before this, we know from the scenes from the Comic-Con trailer, we've heard this is in the beginning of the scene, he has a little confrontation with him and he's like, you're an Avenger. Have I killed you before? That's the same scene. But later he finds out he's Ant-Man and he's like, will you help me, Ant-Man? And the whole reason he's like, he's very manipulative. He's making this deal and he's like, this is Kang. Really, the reason he's doing this is it's the only way out of here.
Yeah.
And is through Ant-Man, but he's manipulated him in that sense.
Yeah.
And then, of course, we'll see that expand and lead into Kang Dynasty. So that's cool in and of itself. So I think that's a really cool plot. And seeing Jonathan Majors as well.
Man,
the
really dude is a beast. I'm so excited to see Majors, man.
And honestly, again, the more times I watch this trailer, the more times I love it. And like you said, it could have a straightforward plot or it could go way deeper than we think it possibly could. It could go very deep and take unexpected turns, which would be really cool. But honestly, I'm very much looking forward to this movie.
Early
I
movie
think it's
predictions.
too early. I think it's way too early.
It's never too early, man.
I think it's
the people want to hear ranking. This is 6.5. I'm calling it right now.
6.5.
6.5.
I'm gonna say a 7 right now.
Okay.
Just because it's way too early. I'm gonna give it just average because it's way too early.
Yeah.
I hope it's an 8 or more.
I do too. I don't want a bad movie,
no.
Michael. Yes, I'm a realist, and I believe I see things as they are, but I don't want to see bad things, man.
Right.
I want to enjoy, what we see together, what we talk about.
For sure. So
we hope for an 8.
I'm hoping for 8 or higher. But right now, it's way too early. So 7.
All right, guys, if you enjoyed this episode, let us know by giving us a review and a download. Our podcast, Here's in the Moment, is available on all major podcast platforms, so check us out. And if you want to stay updated on our social media, check out our Instagram at Here's in the Moment and our TikTok at Here's in the Moment with an extra T. We have a ton of older episodes, and we're breaking down DC and Star Wars. Breaking down Andor right now. Episode 7 is out, so check that baby out.
Yes, and we just want to thank you all for listening. And as always, we love you 3000.